Hi everyone, my name is Mitch from South Africa. Uh, I live out here in the bush. I stay out on a farm here. I enjoy spending my weekends out in the bush doing solo camping, going on adventures, finding new places. And if I'm not doing that, I spend my time here with my girlfriend and my 8 rescue dogs. For work, I fix pumps, agricultural pumps, borehole pumps, sewer pumps, that sort of thing. Not very exciting, but it pays the bills. Well, I was actually born in Bulawayo in Zimbabwe in 1977. Then in 1981, near the end of the Bush War that happened in Zimbabwe, or Rhodesia, it was known as at the time, came down to South Africa with my parents and my older sister. We first stayed on what we call the East Rand of Johannesburg, struggled quite a bit, but my dad worked hard and brought us up. Then we moved to a more affluent part of Johannesburg, and I hated it. All the kids were going to the malls, and I was chasing the girls and video games, and it just wasn't for me. I wanted to be out in the bush and riding my bicycle and fishing. That's what I wanted to do. I made a friend who had been in the Boy Scouts for quite a while, and he started introducing me to knots and building shelters and making fire. And between that and spending time with my cousins who still stay up on a farm up in Zimbabwe, it just ignited this passion in me. And I knew that's what I wanted to do, was spend time out in the bush. So I got more and more involved in that with the Boy Scouts of South Africa at the time. Now it's just the Scouts of South Africa, because yeah, we've gone co-ed, boys and girls could do Scouts. And then when my girls reached that age, they decided to do Scouts as well. And then I got involved there as a Scout leader as well. Well, my very first solo bushcraft experience was as a young man in the Boy Scouts. I was about 16, and we had something called the Backwoodsmans challenge. So with that, they send you out in the bush, minimum requirements, minimum gear, and you've got to go out and survive for 72 hours, accomplishing challenges as well. And at 16, I must be honest, I was a little bit terrified being out there in the bush. It wasn't a game reserve, so there was wild animals. Back then, we didn't have adult sculptures watching after us. It wasn't as soft as what it is today. Yeah, I was a little bit terrified, but so excited at the same time that I could actually take these skills and see, can I do this? And I enjoyed every single minute of it. Well, I do a lot of research on online on things like YouTube and Google. I watch a lot of other bushcrafters, see what ideas they're coming up with. And I'll see an idea online and I'll go, okay, does this work? Does it not work? Has anybody tested it? And that's what I enjoy doing, is going out and testing ideas that some people put out almost as gospel when it comes to the bushcraft and survival. And unfortunately, I found a lot of them actually don't work. If people say, no, you got to try this. This is the best thing. And I've tried it and it doesn't work. So I enjoy those sort of challenges to see that what everybody says, no, this is definitely the best thing to do. And it doesn't always pan out. I like to practice a lot of things. Thankfully, I live out here on a plot. So I've got the opportunity to practice my skills just out in the backyard and try techniques and see if it works. If it doesn't work, I also like to buy a lot of books. You put me in a secondhand bookstore and my girlfriend has to drag me out by the ear. I just love looking for books on history, on bushcraft, on plants, anything like that. Sure. Generally, I tend to pick autumn or spring. Our winters aren't that cold here. It's not like a lot of countries where you have a lot of snow and that sort of thing. Thankfully, where I stay, we don't really get that much of it, but it does still get very cold. In summer, we have a lot of bugs. We have a lot of mosquitoes, and they will eat you alive if you give them half a chance. I tend to camp with just a basic tarp shelter, so I'm very exposed to the elements, especially to bugs. We'll also get scorpions, spiders, snakes, that sort of thing in summer. So that's why I tend to go for autumn or spring, where it's a little bit cooler, less bugs, less snakes, less companions in my sleeping bag. When I was doing the footage for solo, I had a terrible attack of mosquitoes out there because I was camping quite close to a very large dam. And it wasn't that these guys were biting me. I put on bug dope and that sort of thing to protect myself from. But the entire evening they were doing drive-bys, and I just couldn't fall asleep. I eventually took a shamag and actually put it over my head so that I could get some sleep. I've also woken up a couple of times with some scorpions in my boots. So I always make a point of shaking out the boots to make sure that there's nothing in there that's going to sting me. So I was actually heading back towards base camp. I'd done everything I wanted to do. I had all my gear with me, and I'd stopped taking off my backpack, and I was filming some berries because I thought I'd make some really cool footage. And I heard this crashing in the bush, and I looked across, and all I saw was the horns of the Cape buffalo, and they've got very distinctive horns. And I realized I'm in trouble. They were probably about 20 meters away from me, and they, with the exception of things like cheetahs and that, they're one of our fastest land animals. So I knew I had to get up a tree very, very quickly. It's pretty much the only thing you can do with a Cape buffalo. So I climbed up the tree, still had my camera rolling from filming the berries, edited out a lot of swearing while I was climbing up the tree, and got up there, managed to get hold of the lodge manager. My girlfriend, she doesn't do the bush camping at all, so she was staying at the lodge and having a nice glass of wine. And I had to phone them and say, listen, I've got a problem. I'm up in the tree. So I was probably up there for about 20, 25 minutes. And they came through. They had to reverse the bakkie up to the tree, well, bakkie or pickup truck, as you guys would call it. Had to reverse that up so that I could hop into the back. And they had to throw potatoes for the wild buffaloes to get them to move away so that I could actually get into the bakkie. And then we went home. My heart was pounding the entire time. Like I said, I had to cut a lot of footage with me swearing because I was panicking. It was scary, but it was also so fantastic to be that close to those creatures. They're beautiful, beautiful creatures. They're a very unpredictable creature. They're very bad-tempered, and they have been hunted before. So if they see human beings, they equate them with hunters. So they are prone to attacking. They're also very protective if they have young. So I think I just surprised them. I think they were just in the bushes having lunch, and I surprised them, and they decided, no, I don't like you around there. But yeah, they are very unpredictable and definitely not an animal to mess with. We do have a lot of predators. Where I go camping, we tend to have a lot of leopard, who are nocturnal hunters. My personal thinking is, in a tarp shelter, I've at least got a bit of visibility. I can see what's going on around me. Whilst in a tent, you now need to open up the tent and put your head out to see what's there. Also, with a lot of these predators, my thinking is, with a predator, they're silent. I'm not going to hear them anyway if they're going to attack me. If there's bashing through the woods, I can put on my torch. I can see, okay, it's a buck coming past. That's fine. Like I said, predator, I'm not going to hear it. But at least I can keep my eyes open and see what's going on around me. With a tent, you're enclosed in a little cocoon, and you can't really see what's going on around you. Most predators tend to stay away from humans, generally speaking, especially if you've got a nice big fire. They don't like fire. But here, it's a bit of a double-edged sword when it comes to fires, because we've got hippos here, and hippos don't like fire, and they will actually come into your campsite and try and trample out the fire. That's why I make a fire, but I don't make a huge bonfire, because I don't want to invite a hippo in. But I do a lot of research into my areas to see what kind of predators are in that area. Sometimes I'll carry a weapon with me just in case. But thankfully, I haven't had too many troubles with predators. I've had more problems with two-legged predators than four-legged predators. Well, unfortunately, I don't play guitar. I don't have the talent for it. During lockdown, my girlfriend and some of my other friends, they're all semi-professional musicians. They got me into singing. I won't say I'm good yet, but it's good fun and it's learning a new skill. Generally on a Friday night, we'll get together and sing a little bit of karaoke in the bar. My other sports, I've recently taken up shooting, real handguns and that sort of thing, and doing some tactical training with that, also together with a girlfriend. Enjoying that. I do enjoy doing a bit of martial arts and some self-defense work because you never know what's going to happen in the bush or out of the bush. I also enjoy a sport called airsoft. I don't know if you've heard of it. So it's sort of like military simulations. I quite enjoy doing that with my girlfriend's son. He's a reservist with the police. So we go out there and we have some fun and shoot at each other. Well, future for the channel. Well, off the channel, I'm looking at possibly doing some survival courses and some bushcraft courses. People have asked me to do that. One of the main things I'd love to do, because we've got such a varied environment in South Africa, we've got everything from jungle to forest to ocean to deserts. We've got everything here. Is I'd like to go to each of those environments and each of those cultures. We've got 11 spoken languages in South Africa, plus many smaller cultures. So I'd like to, for example, go and spend time with the Khoisan, the original bush people, and learn their craft and how they survive in the bush and what they do for water and food and that sort of thing. Because unfortunately, those skills are dying out. Westernization is slowly but surely creeping in. And one of those days, these skills are going to be lost. So long term, I'd love to be able to do that. Go and spend some time with the various tribes and learn their skill set and show South Africa's skill set as opposed to taking from overseas skill sets and try to adopt it here. I definitely want to carry on with the solo camping. Like I say, I thoroughly enjoy it. One from a filming point of view, but just spending time out in the bush and just being alone with my thoughts. Because I find when I do that, I get to clear everything up in my head and everything that during the week with work and hustle and bustle of life that builds up in your head, I can just deal with it and relax and just lie back and enjoy the small things in this world. Yeah, look at the stars, look at the moon, watch a little cricket on a leaf, and appreciate the small things. But I definitely want to learn more skills, especially from our locals, and being able to adopt that into my solo camping. Well, one of the main reasons that attracted me to solo is I felt it would give me a wider audience to be able to show people the beauty of South Africa and what it's like to camp here. There's a lot of countries where either they can't go camping because of laws and restrictions. Here in South Africa, we're pretty lucky. We've got a lot of places where we can go camping. And I just wanted to show the beauty of the country and also show that you don't need all the latest and greatest equipment. You don't need to spend thousands of rands or dollars or euros to be able to go camping. You can go with the bare minimum and still have fun. And you also don't need to necessarily have 100 people around you to have fun. You can have fun by yourself. Growing up as a child, I had an older sister, and she was obviously always out with her friends. So I spent a lot of time playing by myself. And I got used to my own company. And besides my girlfriend, it's still my favorite company. What I find quite interesting is the differences in how people camp in different countries in the world. The new gentleman from Australia, unfortunately, his name skips my mind, but you can see he's very much an extreme adventurer. While some of the other participants, it's more about just relaxing and being out there and enjoying the bush. I'd say for myself, I think I'm the most primitive of the campers. I don't take that much fancy equipment with me. What I'd love to see one day is possibly all 10 participants getting together for, say, a weekend and just swapping stories and ideas and seeing how other people camp. Sure. I know for a lot of people when they go out, especially solo camping, they become quite scared. They're not used to being alone, especially out in the wilderness. But I find it makes you a stronger person emotionally and mentally. And I just find by doing that, when you come back into the real world, as I call it, life just seems to be a little bit easier. You're able to face problems easier because you've had to deal with those problems on your own in the bush without any distractions or any technology around you. So for people who want to do it, I'd say go for it. If you're scared to do 24 hours or 48 hours or 72 hours, go spend an afternoon out in the bush and just be one with nature and just enjoy yourself out there. Be a kid again. We all built forts and climbed trees and climbed rocks. What stops us from doing that as adults? We've now got the time and the money to do it. I'd say just go for it. I'm just glad that my 8 dogs who are in the bedroom with my girlfriend at the moment, I'm just glad she managed to keep them quiet. I've got 2 basset hounds who they can make a lot of noise, but thankfully we managed to keep them quiet. But I'm looking forward to how the channel's going to go forward, and I'm hoping one day one of my very long-term goals is to possibly get onto a loan and put my skills up against those guys. But other than that, I'm just enjoying the filming process. It's a little bit stressful and trying to find places to camp. But other than that, no questions, no concerns. I've been thoroughly enjoying myself.